There are many reasons why you might not be getting results, but there's 4 reasons that are really stupid.
I'm on an all-carb diet. God, Karen, you are so stupid.
They're dumb because they're annoying, but they're common, and most people overlook them. That's what we're going to talk about, the 4 most common stupid reasons why you're not getting results.
Stupid reasons.
Yeah, and I'll start with the first one, and then we'll swing back, talk a little bit about kind of what we're talking about. But the first one is eating too little. Eating too little.
I mean, this one's controversial because, I mean, we just had a great conversation with Dr. Mike Israetel, and, you know, one of his claims is that the majority of people just underreport, and it's not eating too little.
Sure.
I definitely think there's a large portion of that for sure. But I also think there's a lot of clients that I train that, you know, were just starving their bodies of nutrients and overdoing it. And so, and just simply scaling back on the volume intensity, increasing food a little bit, especially going after whole foods and protein, all of a sudden we saw change.
Well, the reason why this one's one of the stupid reasons is because it's not intuitive. Like, you're trying to lose weight, and so you're eating less. And that is definitely part of the formula of losing weight, is to eat less than you're eating before. But you could be eating so little that you're compromising your body's ability to function. You're compromising your ability to recover and adapt to exercise. And you're putting your body in a position to where it kind of wants to hold on to things. And so what it'll do is it'll pare muscle down. That's what happens here.
It's surviving at that point, right?
Yes.
And then it's affecting your performance in your workouts, which you're not maximizing your true potential as you're actually even going through the exercises. So, you know, it's a lot of different factors that happen when you're really low in calories.
Yeah, and there's a few components in here. One is you could be just generally eating too little, so your calories are so low that your body is paring muscle down. It's changing your hormone profile to try to essentially, for lack of a better term, slow your metabolism down, okay? And so things will halt, and you'll be stuck at this real low-calorie place, and you're not progressing anymore. You have another 15 pounds to lose. It's really frustrating, and you can't figure it out because you're eating so little. I should be losing lots of weight. The other part of this is if you're eating too little of an essential macronutrient. So this could be, I'm not eating enough fats, because fats are essential. Proteins are essential. That's another one. I'm not eating enough proteins. But the not enough fats one, I mean, being a trainer who started training clients in the late 90s and all the way up until this was common because
especially my female clients.
Yes, in the 80s and 90s, what was hammered into us for fat loss was low fat. Everything. So I get female clients, I'm not exaggerating, okay? These were these were people that were like really counting everything, who would come to me and they just couldn't figure out why they felt like absolute garbage. They would have weird symptoms like hair thinning, skin issues. Their energy was terrible. Libido was gone. And I'd go through their diet and they'd be having like 15 grams of fat a day, 20 grams. I'm not making this up. Yeah. Like they were literally boiling chicken breast, eating it with, the
leanest cuts of meat possible.
They wouldn't even touch red
nothing
meat.
with fat.
No, it was like boiled chicken breast. It was white fish, vegetables, white rice, or plain potato. And they would eat like this in salads. And they couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. And when I'd look at it, like, you're not even eating essential fats. Yeah. Your body's not absorbing fat-soluble vitamins, and you need some fats to do well. So I would literally, it was so funny. Some of these clients, I'd have them add like a tablespoon of peanut butter, or I'd have them, add like an avocado.
Immediate
change in energy, and their body would start kicking into gear. Now, too little protein is also terrible, and can cause a lot of those issues as well. But low calories in general, too low calories in general. Yeah. Your body will figure out how to operate on those low calories because that's what it does.
Creates deficiencies.
And it causes it just makes you lose muscle like crazy. And so then you end up in this position, which, how many times has this happened to you guys? You'd have somebody who would just not, in the gym, who would just undereat, and they would lose weight and their body fat percentage would go up. Yeah. And couldn't figure out, what do you mean? I lost.
Worst case scenario.
I lost 12 pounds. How did my body fat percentage go up? It's like you lost 10 pounds of muscle. Yeah. Maybe a couple pounds of muscle.
I think this is why it falls into the category of 4 stupid things, right? Because it's like, how frustrated are you when you're like, okay, I understand law of thermodynamics. I'm going to move more, eat less. And that's the main rule I'm going to follow. And then I do. And then the result on the scale says I did a good job. But then I go take my body fat. And what you mean to tell me I got fatter. How's
Yeah.
that possible? And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, it's very
Your story
possible.
of your trainers is my favorite, where you had everybody compete.
Yeah.
These were trainers,
Yeah.
but a lot of them overdid
part
it.
of that.
Yeah, and a lot of them overdid it, and they came back lighter with a higher body fat percentage. Because here's what happens: if you're sitting at, let's say, 15% body fat, let's say you're a man, 200 pounds, 15% body fat. So you got a nice athletic build, 15% is good, and then you lose 20 pounds. Okay, but it's muscle. It's all muscle. Your current body fat now is a higher percentage of your body weight. So in other words, your body fat, you're actually fatter as a percentage.
Even if it was half, you still would go up, I believe, right? If I'm mathing that correctly.
It could, yeah. It could if it was half muscle, half fat.
Yeah, even if it, which is not horrible, totally horrible, but that's what an example of how that's doable. I don't know if it's exactly half, but it'd be close. You could easily lose,
Definitely if you lost more muscle than fat.
Oh yeah, definitely. Then you would
Yeah.
you go up in body fat percentage. But I think I forget where the number is because I've done the math before. It's like, wow, that's crazy that even if you did a good job of losing, say, 10 or 20 pounds, is if just half of it was
You could
muscle.
you could stay in the same place,
Yeah,
which would suck.
stay the same or go up. And let me tell you, the work,
Less muscle, same body
the
fat.
work to lose 20 pounds, regardless of what the 20 pounds is a lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of depriving yourself of calories and a lot of activity to result in. I mean, how frustrating is that to do all that? And I mean, that was my trainers. I mean, they were just, this thing's broken. It doesn't work. It's and I'll be honest. When that happened, I questioned it too. I was just like, can all my guys and girls be off? Are we all that off? Like,
Dude, and this, I was just like thinking about that and like the amount of competition where we get like Ronnie and Nick in the sauna. Yeah, doing burpees and like sweating and like everything was like so high intensity and like cardiovascular based. And like we were just so oblivious. And I'm like, oh, these guys are crazy. And I was just, I was still in that mentality. I have to like lose weight by adding more cardio on top of the training I'm already doing. And like, and then you find yourself in that place where you get tested and you're like, this can't be true. This can't be true.
It's crazy. All right, the next one. This one's relatively common. Just exercising too much or too hard.
which goes right to the point what Justin was just saying.
Yes,
right now. I mean,
this one is. So remember, exercise.
See, I'm right in line.
Exercise is
Setting you up.
essentially a hormetic stress. Okay, so it's a stress on the body that tells the body it needs to become stronger, more fit, build muscle to adapt to the stress that it provides. But if the stress overcomes or surpasses your body's ability to adapt and recover, it's just stress. It's just lots of stress. And your body adapts. If it doesn't adapt to the stress, if it can't adapt to the stress, all that's going to happen is you're going to break things down. You're going to cause hormone issues. That's a very common one. By exercising too much or too hard is a fantastic way to crash your testosterone if you're a man. It's an amazing way to destroy your hormone profile if you're a woman. This is an extremely stupid reason or frustrating reason because you're working your butt off and nothing's happening. This is common in the high intensity group exercise world. This is what you see more often than not in the boot camp classes, the F45s, the Orange Theories, these, middle-aged people coming in who are going crazy, and initially they lose 10 pounds, so like super excited, but then they plateau and they're like, okay, I'm coming here 4 days a week and I'm barely crawling out of here because I'm pushing it so hard. And I that's it. I'm not progressing anymore, but I have another 15 pounds to lose. Where do I go one more day a week? That's a lot. Do I go 6 days a week? What's that going to do? It's very frustrating. The truth is exercise needs to be appropriate. If it's appropriate, your body will respond. If it's too little, it won't respond very fast. If it's too much, you're going to freeze. You're going to freeze your progress and you're going to plateau. And if you push it too hard for too long, you'll go backwards.
That's the part that makes this so stupid or frustrating is that, what is that? And there's such a wide variance, right? And it's so nuanced and context matters. Because I know what happens is a lot of people are just like, I'm not even pushing that hard. I'm only training this many days. But you're also working 10 hours a day at work. You've also got a newborn kid at home. You also are just got in a fight with your wife. You have all these other things. And then on top of that, you chose the mode of exercise you chose is high intensity circuit training or CrossFit. And it's like in that context, even only doing it, say 3 or 4 days a week, and then the rest of the time you're not doing any other, it still can be too much stress. And that's enough for these people not to see the results. And again, really difficult because then they're comparing themselves to somebody else who's in the same class going, well, why is it working so well for them? Well, that context matters. We don't know what that person is, how they're dieting, what their stress levels are like, and all that stuff matters. And you got to know where you're at and where to start.
It's all signal and it's no recovery.
Yeah.
You know, it's this weird illusion that I could just, I think some people are still under the impression that the workout itself is where they're building the muscle. And so then to keep doing that and then keep increasing that intensity and keep, throttling down on that is going to pay off. But really the building process, it requires, that's the signal that then now we have to go back. We have to recover. We have to feed ourselves. We have to have the materials. All of that has to happen to now actually provide the muscle.
These kind of clients were simultaneously some of the most challenging, but also my favorites, because if I could do a good job where I could convince them to trust me, that was the hard part, right? So you take somebody who's doing 5 days a week of high intensity group exercise classes, they've plateaued. And it's typically, I'm going to paint, let me paint the picture for you, okay? It says a 38-year-old mom of 2, and she's getting back into fitness because her baby just turned 3 years old, and she initially lost 12 pounds, but she's been doing this 4 days a week now and has seen no movement on the scale for a while. And you see her working her butt off and sweating, and then you start talking with her. I have to convince her that doing less and training less hard and doing a little bit more traditional strength training, which seems like a cakewalk compared to what she was doing before, is going to get her better results. Now, if I can do a good job and convince her to stick around, because it takes a second for this to work, then it's a lifer. This was a lifelong client. Yeah. But the hard part was convincing them, because it was always like, wait, you want me to do less?
Yeah.
You want me to do, you just took me through a workout and that felt like nothing compared to what I've been doing. And you're telling me this is going to burn body fat? And I was like, trust me. And now later in my career, I got good at this because usually a friend recommended them. So they trusted me because they saw the evidence there. But once they followed through, it was like, and what would they always say? I feel like I'm barely doing anything and my body's progressing.
I'm eating more, I'm working out less, I have more energy. It doesn't make sense.
Yep.
It's bringing me anxiety.
That's right. Today's program giveaway is MAPS Strong. If you want to win it, leave a comment below this video the first 24 hours that we drop it. Subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications. If you're the winner, we'll let you know in the comments section. We also have a sale, MAPS Hit and the Extreme Fitness Bundle, 50% off. If you're interested, go to mapsfitnessproducts.com and then use the code April50 for the discount. Back to the show. The next one is a nutrient deficiency. This one sucks because a lot of people don't even realize that the reasons why they don't feel great, the reasons why they're not recovering, the reasons why maybe they're showing signs of hormone imbalances is because they're not getting a key nutrient that's so easy to fix. Like, for example, magnesium deficiency, not getting enough magnesium, by some estimates, probably affects between 20 to 30% of everybody. Some people say even more. There's some health experts that think
it was 60.
Yeah, that will say as high as 60.
I've read 60.
It depends on what you believe is optimal, but it's a sizable percentage of people.
Yeah.
Now, what does a magnesium deficiency look like? Well, it looks like anxiety. It looks like poor sleep. Mm-hmm. It looks like feeling uneasy, not recovering like I used to, just kind of like not feeling, maybe some headaches here and there. Now, those are easy to overlook, right? Because you're like, I don't know, I'm kind of getting bad sleep and I feel a little anxious and I don't know. So you go to your doctor and your doctor's like, well, try this, that, you do that, it doesn't work. And then the doctor's like, here's an SSRI or here's an anxiolytic or, whatever. Not realizing this is an easy fix. Vitamin D deficiency is even more common. Vitamin D deficiency will kill a man's testosterone. It can cause infertility. It can cause aches and pains. This happened to my dad. My dad, who often is outside. Now we have dark skin, so he needs more sun than the average person, but he's often outside working, he's active. And he was having all these aches and pains. Now he thought it's because he's older, arthritis, he's worked blue collar work his entire life, couldn't figure it out. And it was like, this was going on, guys, for probably a year. Yeah. And he was taking pain medication, just couldn't figure it out. Did a regular blood test, like your vitamin D is in the floor. They gave him, vitamin D you could buy for so cheap anywhere. Started taking it, pain was gone. Pain was totally gone.
How common do you think it is that people, maybe with some of these deficiencies and symptoms, we'll just chalk it up and attribute it to they're older now. And this is part of the aging process. And they don't ever get checked.
Or even that this is part of the process of feeling this way. Because this goes hand in hand with the first one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Almost always when someone, and I remember, I wish I remember to be able to cite, I'm the worst at when it comes to citing the studies or whatever it was. But I remember reading a study or an article that talked about the average male and female at this weight was like very general numbers, how many calories, macros, what they need to have to hit their like RDA for all their macros.
Which by the way, some people argue isn't even optimal for nutrients.
Right,
sure.
exactly. And it's like the amount you were supposed to eat, it was like for a guy, it was like a 3,500 plus a serving of liver. It was like this, like just ridiculous. Nobody's eating that. I'm like, so almost everybody's going to have some sort of deficiency somewhere, and then put that in the context of somebody who is dieting and eating, like you said, boiled chicken breast, this and that. It's like, dude, you are certainly probably deficient somewhere. Yeah. And so, I think they go hand in hand. If you're eating too little, you're also probably going to have some of these nutrient deficiencies.
Have you guys ever seen, they put together some dietitians and they said, create a 2,000 calorie diet that hits the RDA of every single micronutrient.
They can't, right?
It took some crazy planning.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And it was not a diet the average person would eat.
No, it's like it was. I told you, it's like you have to have so many ounces of liver. Like you need these unbelievably nutrient-dense foods in order to fit the calories. So I remember it was like
you had to match the calories
to match the calories to not gain weight on the average person, but yet hit your nutrients. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
and that it's a testament to how much I think our nutrients lack in our, like, because part of that I think it was connected to showing like what a vegetable had nutrient wise today versus like 50
things are lower
over the years.
So food is a lot lower. Our maintenance calories is much lower, and so and because of that, like what is required to get what our body needs is much higher. Yet if we eat much higher, we put on body fat. So we're in this conundrum of, okay, I need to eat less in order to lose weight, but then I'm almost certainly going to be deficient somewhere because I'm getting nutrient deprived. So, and I just think it's overlooked.
Yeah.
I think we talk so much about the aesthetic, right? How I look. Oh, I don't like this gut, and this is what it takes to lose it. But we don't talk about health and what's optimal nutrient wise.
No, it's relatively common when you look at all. And then there's also this, like, the greater the deficiency, the louder the signs and symptoms are. So you could be borderline deficient and you just kind of don't feel as good as you could, and you don't have these crazy glaring symptoms, but you're just not getting, you're in the low
level. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was dumb because I've had clients like this. Actually, I had one.
I was like this with magnesium.
Yeah.
I
vitamin D too.
Yes. If you would have asked me, I would be like, I'm fine. I don't think I have bad sleep but then all of a sudden I take it and it felt life-changing. Like, that's wild. But it was because I was deficient in that.
Yep. I had a client once that for a while we could not figure out why she was having these strange neuropathy in her fingertips, and it was happening forever, and the doctor couldn't figure it out. Nobody could figure it out, and I did some Google searching as her trainer, and I'm like, I think you have a vitamin B deficiency. She got tested, sure enough, took some cheap vitamin B and some B supplements, and she felt great. All right, last is not priming or doing a proper warm up. All right, so why is this a stupid reason, or why is this a frustrating reason? First off, we call a good warm-up, or one that's individualized, priming. We use that word to differentiate it because when I say warm-up, people just think warming up the body. Like
calisthenics, running on the treadmill.
Blood flow, and that's about it.
And now the bar is really low with warm-ups. The idea behind a warm-up is to reduce the risk of injury. That's the idea. And that's the minimum it should do. And just moving before you exercise does reduce the risk of injury through some mechanisms. Primarily, the main one being your body is just firing better because you've just done a couple of these things. Like, for example, if you do, you practice one thing, the second time around you'll do it better.
It's not as abrupt. Your body recognizes it better.
Yes. Now, priming is different. Priming takes your individual body and how it moves, and you warm your body up individually so that it works best during your workout based off of what you need. Okay, so to give you an example, I may be someone who, when I squat, my ankle mobility is a limiting factor. So what ends up happening when I squat, this is a common one, is I'll squat and my feet will flatten and slightly turn out. So I'll get a little bit of rotation in my knee. Now, I might not notice it, but I start to notice that my knees bother me a little bit. I get a little achy in my knees when I squat, okay? If I identify that in myself properly, I can do ankle priming, and then when I get into my squat, that doesn't happen because I move better. You can do this for your hips. You can do this for your shoulders. You may have forward shoulder. You might have forward head. You might have issues engaging your core. If you prime properly, then when you get into your workout, right away, set one is effective. Right away, it's effective. And the risk of injury goes way down. So to put it differently, a well-done set of squats where you are moving very, very well versus one that's okay, right? It's not so bad you're going to hurt yourself right away, but it's just not great. The difference in results over the next 6 months is actually significant. It's quite significant. And a lot of people don't understand how to prime. Now, a good coach or trainer will know how to prime you properly, but really look at your individual movement pattern issues and warm yourself up specifically, not generally. That's one of the best ways I could put it.
If you had to put a percentage to the return on your investment on that per exercise you do in the workout, would you say it makes the exercise 5% better, 1%, 10,
I say
15,
10 at least.
10%? I mean, we so for the audience, they understand we're very aware of this, and we always see great examples of this at the professional level of sports. So if you go to a football game, hockey game, basketball game, any professional sport, and unfortunately the television doesn't show much of this because they cut right from commercial right to playing. But what it's happening before the game for about 30 minutes is very individualized priming for all these athletes. Almost every athlete has a assigned coach. So if you watch basketball, like all 15 players have like a guy that works with you.
So it's like your warm-up looks like this.
So Steph Curry's band work and drills looks different than Draymond Green's drills. And they have figured that out. Now you're talking about some of the most fit athletes out there. So it's not like they need this exercise, but what they are doing is they are priming their body to go get the most out of every movement that they do in that game for the next few. It's the same thing
So
when you're
you get
trying
in the pocket the quickest possible.
Yes.
And that's the thing. Here and on that level too, you're talking about velocity and acceleration, which, has even more need for priming in order to, I was just going through this, getting coached for just a jerk press. And so this is something that's like a bit foreign to me right now in terms of like an Olympic lift, but the demands for it are crazy in terms of my feet positioning and to be responsive with that. And so to be responsive with that, doing it without the priming sequence, you see me flailing all over the place because my body's just trying to react and catch and figure it out and like overdoing it in terms of my energy output just to try to stabilize and control. So, but then as I did it again with priming and I've, patterned that movement, it was like synced in. Immediate sinking in. And again, if you kind of scale that down to your workout and any kind of exercise you're doing, you're just going to squeeze and maximize that performance potential to that degree.
If you include the gains you'll get or the performance you'll get for the exercise through the sets with proper priming, and you combine that with the reduction in injury or pain, I believe the payoff is more than 10%.
I know.
I would say over the course of a year, it's probably more like 15%. Or
I mean, the reason why I brought up the professional athlete thing is because these guys are working out. They're doing nutrition.
Yeah.
They're checking the boxes already, and yet they're still
doing it.
And they're still doing it, and they're still rebuilding. So for the average gym goer who's not checking a lot of the boxes, I think the return's even higher. I think the impact of them getting ready to go, the return that they're going to see on it is even greater because they're not optimizing every other place. So at least optimize getting your body ready for that workout. I think I wish we had some good studies to to nail down a percentage so I could sell it better.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
But it's like an area that I mean, to me, of all the ones you listed, this one is like, I mean, this is, again, I've said this before on the podcast. If you listen for a long time, I was so proud of, we're proud of everything we've done program wise, but MAPS Prime was so special as far as like, I knew the value, and it took me years before I got to this place where I really recognized the value of the assessment and really teaching a client how to prepare their body for a workout to get the most out of it. So they move more optimally, they reap the most amount of benefits. And it was mind-boggling how many people skip that process, or how many people bastardize it by just doing ridiculous like jumping jacks, or just go run on a treadmill for 10 minutes and then let's go right into our workout. It's like, man, if we could hone in on what this person's body needs and spend a quick 5 to 8 minutes just getting them ready, man, the rewards, aside from injury prevention and posture and moving better, it just the rewards on the muscle building side and fat loss are tremendous. And so the fact that we created something that not only trainers and coaches could go use for their clients, but that the person who doesn't even have a trainer and coach could assess themselves and learn that themselves. I think it's the best thing that we ever do.
Because this is more individualized, let's do, so if you want something like that, you go to mapsprime.com, then Prime 50 will give you 50% off. That way you can figure that out for yourself. A good trainer knows how to do this, by the way. This is one of the technical things that separates a great trainer from your typical trainer.
If your trainer
Big part of their value.
Run. If your trainer doesn't do this on their first, if your trainer on the first session doesn't do a deep, thorough assessment on you, run.
Yeah. Big red flag.
Yeah, there's far better coaches and trainers out there that take this part, and the ones that have been doing this for a long time understand how valuable, how important this is. And they're not at that phase of their career where they allow the client to dictate what the training session looks like. They know how to convince or explain to this person how valuable this assessment that we're doing is, even when the client's saying, I just want to work out. Let's just show me some exercise, or let's just get a sweat on. And you're like, no, I'm gonna break down to you why we want to do this.
Here's how valuable priming can be when you do it right, okay? This is a trainer trick, but it's not really a trick. It's just you know what you're doing. I would get a client, a potential client, who would say to me, I have low back pain or I have shoulder pain. Oh, really? Show me when your shoulder hurts. Oh, it's when I do this. I would prime them for 10 minutes properly. Then I'd say, do that movement again. No shoulder pain. Oh my God, it's gone. They would hire me right on the spot. That's literally, that was like 100%. You talk to any trainer who's been a trainer for a long time.
Stability.
Who knows this? If I had somebody that I wanted to hire me, this was the fastest, easiest way to show my value is when they had a little bit of pain, I'd make it go away in 10 minutes with proper priming. And it would either go away or it'd be 70% reduction.
I mean, let's break that one down because it was so common, and I think it is so powerful. Like, because the joint, right, the humerus is like floating, right, and what happens? A lot of people feel this pain in their shoulder when they do bench press or overhead pressing because it's not in an optimal position, and the muscles that are supposed to stabilize that shoulder and put it in the optimal spot aren't firing properly. And so what you know to do is go, oh, okay, I know what this person needs to do. They need to fire all those muscles, get them warmed up, and then that'll pull that humerus into the optimal position to where that shoulder is floating in that socket perfectly. So then when they go, it looks like you just miraculously cured them. Yep. But you just understand as a trainer, like, oh, I know why this person feels that way.
That's right.
Let me go warm that up real quick.
Aligned and stacked properly.
And now that person who was skipping bench press or overhead pressing because can now do it. And like, talk about the return on that. Like, and I had clients like that. I had clients who were like, oh yeah, I don't do bench press because every time I do it, I feel this clicking and it nagging pain, or every time I do shoulder press, I feel this. And so, I can do this, I can do that, but I avoid that. And it's like, oh my God, well, we could fix that right now. You want to fix that? And like, huh? And you fix that?
What do you mean right now?
Yeah. Blow their mind.
I used to love that.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, I haven't talked to you since you went and trained with Jordan.
Yeah, with Jordan. Yeah. Yeah, it was amazing. And it's funny because it's just like, it's one of those things that you're always the student and like, that gets thrown out there a lot. And it's, I knew a brief amount about Olympic lifting from my past working with it for football, but I had some good coaches that have kind of set a little bit of a foundation, but like just the amount of cues and direction and the high level that he is in terms of, that specific lift itself. It was like, I was sitting there just like mind blown just because it was like, I felt stupid because I had waited this long to go get somebody to actually do a proper assessment of what I'm actually trying to accomplish. And so
he was walking you through a jerk press.
Yeah.
Right. And that's a technical lift. Okay. Yes. Explain a jerk press to me versus a push press. So I know what a push press is.
Push press. Yeah. Bilateral. So it's, I'm basically.
So are you jumping to a split stance?
So yeah, I'm jumping to a split stance.
Okay.
Yeah. To a split stance position. And what that provides. So if I'm trying to do an excess amount of weight, which I'm trying to really push the envelope of what I've never, where I've never been before, I'm trying to clear a certain distance greater because
You wanna get
the
under
amount
the
of
bar.
load you're pushing up, right? I'm limited to, let's say, like 275. I got full lockout, so now I try to put 315. I can get about here, right?
But if you get under,
So now if I get under and I drop, I just went from this potential to this potential.
Yeah.
But that requires a lot more skill in what I'm doing with my legs and my feet, especially because I'm not, my body doesn't recognize that kind of stabilization at that kind of velocity. So it was like a lot of work we were doing was really like, the step out and then the pushing of the front of my foot and the back foot to create that vertical stability. And then also my hand position, I had to really widen my grip as I'm pushing out because the technique it's also a little different because I'm used to like a real explosive snapping push. So with the push press, I could kind of hinge my hips and I could almost like vertical jump it up. Right. This is a little bit different. So I'm setting up. So I'm basically dropping and pressing down, I guess pressing my knee down as opposed to pressing my arms up.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a different
cue
shift, different mindset with that because I'm just trying to clear that distance by lowering and then extending as I'm lowering. So it's less of my upper body really trying to muscle this up as much as the technique and the flow of me.
It's like getting under while you extend your arm.
Yes.
And then holding it.
Into the logout. So
how far
it's a whole new thing.
How far did you have to regress?
Real far.
Did you go all the way down to the bar?
Humbling. I did the bar. I did an empty bar and we worked up and I kind of went up to like 185 and then I was like, it's funny because, we're in a CrossFit gym and, I love Jordan. He's like a really good coach. At the same time, I'm like, they do a lot of volume here. I guarantee it. Cause like, even when I'm trying to rest in between, he's like just staring at me, I'm just like, and I'm trying to like small talk just to buy myself some time.
Yeah.
Is that you ready or what?
I don't even remember how many reps I did, but I just kept, he's like, okay, let's try this again. Oh, you want to add some more weight? I'm just like, it crushed me for 3 days. Like after that, and I only got up to like 185 and I was like, fuck, it's almost like I'm learning a whole new thing.
Well, you are.
Yeah.
It's a skill. It's a huge skill.
But it's so not that much different. It's just like, because I'm still pressing, but at the same time, I'm doing a whole lot more.
Well, bro, you got to
here.
stabilize with a split stance. Your grip is wider. And then from the split stance, you have to come up and step together. So that's like that's all different.
Well, that part's not as bad. It's the synchronicity of the whole thing. Like it's just really.
Have you walked out
yet? My brain was like on overload.
Have you walked out yet with just a locked 315 and just held it?
Just held it.
You have,
but that's just that's without any effort. That was like just holding it.
Right. And you've done that.
And it's heavy as fuck.
Hell yeah, dude! I can't tell you I want to do that.
I was like, I don't know, dude.
For sure, it crushed my spine.
But that was the thing. So it's like I made this massive leap where I finally got like 275, and then it was like, oh yeah, okay. So now what I'm looking at is this, and then it was like I really have to step back, like quite a bit back to get further in that, and that was frustrating.
Dude, I knew you were crazy, bro. I'm 315.
Bro.
I'm like, dude,
typical Justin.
275. I would have been impressed, bro.
You would have been impressed.
I would have hyped you too. I would have hella hyped you about 275 all day.
We already would have had the whole thing, and like I would have the chalk and the smelling salts, and it would have been done.
I mean, to compare it in my world of what I was doing, it would have been like me coming out and being like, I'm gonna get all 50 pounds back right away. You know what I'm saying? 50 pounds
more. He never did 350.
Well, it's
it'd be like you gaining
50 pounds and 50 pounds of muscle in 3 months is pretty ridiculous, no matter where you've been before. You know what I'm saying? So that's how like extreme.
And that's why no one will remember your name. That's so Justin right there.
That resonates.
Look how happy he is right now.
I feel that.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. Look, we have a free guide. It's the benefits of eating whole foods. This gives you a shopping list, what foods are best for proteins, fats, carbohydrates. There's recipe samples. It's all based on real, whole, natural foods, and it's a free guide. It's totally free. You can get it if you go to WholeFoodsGuide.com or by clicking on the link in the description below. Dude, the other day, Adam, you were asking me about detoxing.
Oh, yeah.
So that led me down a little bit of a rabbit hole into looking at chelating compounds. So these are compounds that bind to heavy metals. Okay.
So is chelating just another term for detoxing? Is that
No, well, it's part of it'll help
part
with
of
the
the process.
detoxing process.
Okay.
So chelating compounds, what they'll do is they'll attach to heavy metals, and then you can excrete them. Okay, so because otherwise they kind of stay in the body. So if you have, like, let's say you're high in aluminum or lead, God forbid, or whatever, then typically what a functional medicine practitioner will do is have you use chelating compounds plus use things like a sauna and stuff like that to help move that process along. Right?
Yeah.
Chlorophyll is an excellent chelating compound. Chlorophyll is what makes plants green.
Yeah,
It's what makes plants green.
Isn't that the primary thing that's in like green juice? Isn't that what that is?
Well, that's why it's green. So the reason why it's green, it's the Organifi's green juice is green is because of the chlorophyll. Which, by the way, Doug, confirm this. I think I've had you look this up before. Chlorophyll, if I'm not mistaken, is very similar
to hemoglobin.
in blood.
Yeah.
Didn't they in the World War,
Plant
one of the
blood.
world wars, use it for people who needed hemoglobin as a cheap alternative? Maybe you could look that up. But anyway, so chlorophyll's got all these benefits, right? So like chlorella, spirulina, green algae, very high in chlorophyll.
Is this one of those, like, when you know how people that eat a ton of carrots, they turn orange?
No, that's different. I don't think it'll turn
You don't
green.
think it'll turn green? Do you think anybody's ever tried?
No, I don't think you turn green.
I'd be curious, dude.
It can turn orange. Have you seen that before?
Is that
Yeah,
real?
you can.
Bro, I went to school with a kid.
That's why it's not that crazy.
I went to
Is
school with a
that
kid
so
like that.
Trump just eats a lot of carrots?
Maybe he's just
I
a
don't
big
think
carrot
he's as
fan.
orange as they say. Did you see that somebody called out one of the news networks for like tinting him more orange?
No way.
Yes, dude.
hilarious.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Well, they did that to Joe Rogan when they tried to make him look sick.
Yeah,
They-
on ivermectin.
They had all these weird filters on him. It was
To
hilarious.
make him look all pale and
Bro,
sick.
the levels people
It's-
go to,
it's
man.
so messed
pretty
up, dude.
deceptive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Did you find anything on chlorophyll there, Doug?
Well, it is very similar to hemoglobin. I don't see anything about it being used in place of.
Look at chlorophyll for blood transfusion,
Okay.
and then see if doctors have tried that before. I might be just making this up.
You might be.
But anyway, so the green juice is probably because there are lots of things that we're exposed to in the environment that our body has a tough time getting rid of. By the way, chlorophyll also boosts your liver's ability to detox. It does through this mechanism that I don't fully understand, but it's been shown in studies that if you take chlorophyll or you supplement with things higher in chlorophyll, your liver will do a better job of kind of detoxing, which is good, especially if you do things like drink alcohol or exposed to pollutants and stuff like most of us are.
So is this
So good product.
is this what you are doing with all your free time now that you
Oh
don't
man. Here we go. Did I tell you guys what happened?
You have to tell the audience about your other come to Jesus moment.
Yeah,
I mean,
we need
I feel like
an update. I haven't heard the story.
This is what happens when you not find anything, Doug?
No.
Yeah, I made it up then. It is a chelated compound, though. That's legit. No, so I'm going through this process of this is like a process of prayer, trying to break down this idol of mine around exercise, and so I brought it down to 2 days a week. I was doing MAPS Anabolic 2 days a week, and then 3 days a week or so, or 2 days a week, I'm doing like mobility and stuff. And the idea is to eventually go back to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because it's just it's a healthier mindset for me to do that versus bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is just, my relationship with it moves in the wrong direction. So anyway, I'm doing this 2 days a week, right? And I'm getting strong, right? I'm getting real strong. Adam was like commenting on my list, and that kind of perked a little bit. He shouldn't have said anything.
little gasoline there.
Well, what happened? I'm not counting the weight. I purposely wasn't counting how much weight was on the bar.
And I wasn't saying it like to
I know
keep
you
it
weren't.
going.
You
It
were
was
just
more
curious.
like of, hey.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
that's
what
a
it was
lot of
more
weight,
like.
bro.
That it was like, okay, guy, you dropped down to 2 days a week, but now you're pressing some serious ass weight. It was more like
I
that.
could have called that.
Yeah. So anyway, I was
Yeah.
working out, and I came in here, and I'm deadlifting, and I'm just, I'm feeling it, and I'm lying to myself because of course, hindsight, right? My ego was peaking up or whatever. That idol was speaking up, so I started just slapping weight on, and I'm just having a good time. The staff's in here, and I put 530 on the bar, and I go to rip it real fast, and I feel pop my hamstring,
Just like me, dude.
just like I did in Hawaii. Now it wasn't a tear, but it was a pull. Definitely not a tear.
Same
no
leg?
Just like me, dude.
Same hamstring.
Okay, well,
different head of the hamstring though.
Okay.
It wasn't the semitendinosus. It was more inner.
different attachment.
Yeah. So I'm like, cool. I got the other side, I guess.
Yeah, good. Even it out.
So I sit down and I'm like, angry.
Yeah.
I'm angry. Like,
Yeah.
gosh, I did this to myself. So I'm like, all right, let me just bring this down a little bit and let me just sit here and be by myself and pray a little bit. And okay, I hear you. You know, I'm doing it again. And so I sat there for like 10 minutes on the bench, just kind of like, so I'm like, it's like the beginning of my workout. So I'm like, I'll finish the workout, I'll go light. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go easy and finish the workout. Now, the obvious answer should have been, go home.
Take the day off.
Yeah.
Go home, buddy.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm just gonna go light. So I go to do my overhead press and I lighten the load and I'm pressing and I, pull, then I hurt my back.
Double whammy.
Now the audience, people need to know this.
Somebody needs to make like an AI
Listen.
an AI image of us, like wheelchair and like president mind pump, all old and
You're
fucked
so
up.
giddy. Screw up. Screw you, man.
You know what? Because I
know you, dude.
I was messed up.
I know.
Mystery Loves Company, dude. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, I feel you because I actually it got me. You know what I'm saying?
It's annoying, man.
Well,
More than
it's also
annoying.
because we know better, right?
Yeah.
I know better, and just like you do. And obviously we're on this platform, we're teaching and helping and telling people. So to do dumb shit to yourself is just like, God, it's a double whammy. It's different if it's in the dark and nobody got to know about it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like the whole world finds out when I do it.
What's interesting is that I've been working out forever. You guys know, I don't get hurt. I never get hurt. I'm pretty smart. I stick to what I do. My body's pretty resilient to injury, even heavy lifting. So it's just, it's like, someone's telling me something. So I just totally backed off and, get back into it. But this time with a different, hopefully, attitude.
Yeah.
I hope I don't hurt myself.
So did you have to lay off legs completely for a week?
Yeah, no legs. And I'm just moving this week. I'm just, because I need to exercise. I have to move. We're so sedentary.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing anything crazy with the lifting. And I'm going to try, as soon as it gets healed, I'm going to get into jiu-jitsu ASAP because that's what's got to do it. I need that community. And it's a different mindset, totally different mindset.
This has been it's 2.5, almost 3 years since I moved last time, and so I'm in the middle of a move right now. We're finishing up, and granted, I didn't do all of it at all, but I did some of it, and I'm reminded, like when you do things that are like so out of because when we lift, even though I create some rotation exercises and I do some things I'm supposed to. But grabbing furniture and twisting in weird ways and reaching.
Yeah, it's not balanced like a barbell.
It is. Yeah, it's still so different. Like I feel sore in a different way than I felt, and just like reminded, man, just how taxing that can be on my body, and going like, God, dude, I'm not the same as I was before. How easily stuff like that can affect.
Have you guys seen those videos?
Recovery takes a while these days.
It's so funny you say that. There was these videos on social media where they had bodybuilders versus farmers.
Oh God, I seen the who is that viral guy? It's a viral guy. That's like his whole thing is that.
Well, are you talking about the dude that dresses like a custodian?
No.
Oh,
There's a guy's page that's like dedicated to all these. I've just watched an interview he did.
There's some that were like construction workers versus bodybuilders. And another one that was
I think I sent it to you guys.
And they were arm wrestling. And then there were some where they were like deadlifting and lifting things.
Yeah,
and the farmers' construction was blowing these guys away. Dude.
Yeah,
they were just they didn't even work out.
Yeah,
they just work.
Yeah, dude.
Isn't that cool?
I think some of them were still they trained too. But they were just mainly contractor guys. But I think they still lifted too. I saw that video. I think I sent it to you guys.
I love that. I love seeing that.
I mean, it's there's something to be said about that, man. And to be doing it for years.
Listen, I have all the respect. I have a family that does blue collar. I know what that does to you.
Yeah,
it makes you strong in a completely different real world way. So anyway, I brought some interesting data came out on snacking trends that I wanted to bring up. I think, I've already speculated this. We've said this on the show that the GLP-1, the intervention of GLP-1s is going to be culture shifting.
Well, they're meeting, and they're like, there's already snacks coming out to counter it.
Yeah, to lessen the effects of the GLP-1, baked into these snacks.
Listen to this, dude. They are seeing in 2024
the science wars.
In 2024. Greek yogurt has gone up 12% in sales. Cottage cheese, 11%, these are big numbers, okay? Big percentage jumps. For people who understand the food industry, it's a big deal. Nutrition shakes have gone up 8%. Meat snacks, 5%. Then you go to cookies, down 1.2%. Potato chips, down 1.2%. Pretzels, down. Crackers, down. Non-chocolate candy, down. I mean,
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's going way down. In fact,
We should be celebrating.
It's
No.
awesome, but they're freaking out.
Yeah, they're freaking out.
That's millions, billions of dollars.
and for the first time since 2008, North American snack empire reported an annual sales decline. Revenue slipped from 24.7 billion to 24.7 billion, down from 24.9. But the crazy thing is, it's been growing. It's been growing, and
Forever,
for the first time ever,
right?
going down.
Yeah.
They're
Doing
panicking.
the opposite.
They are completely freaking out. Now, this article's stupid because they're like, lower income, if people are lower income or trying to spend less or whatever. No. It's been going up for a long time.
No.
I think it has to do with, you know why, by the way, because people are like, well, how many people are actually using GLP-1s? A significant percentage. But when you look at snack food consumption, there are heavy users and then there are the average person.
Yeah.
So like they've done this with fast food. When you look at fast
They
food,
need them whales.
there's a percentage. Justin. Wow.
I mean, that's money right there. Dude.
Yeah, I know.
You don't want them whales to go away.
When you look at like fast food companies know this. That
He
like
means whale in the money sense.
Yeah,
I know what he's
what are you
saying.
guys
Big
thinking?
spender.
I know.
The big spender
Making fat
whale.
jokes
is
over
what
here.
he-
That's just
what he
created
means, but-
wrong.
I know.
Why would I do that?
That's going to get received
I know
very
what he's
different
saying.
than, that, than what he
I
was
know
That's
what
what
he-
you
I know
call
the double
a big
entendre.
spender.
Yeah, it's, I know.
That's what I'm saying, guys.
I know, bro. But anyway, when you look at like the data on this, there like a significant percentage of snack food sales go to a smaller percentage of people that are just what are considered heavy users.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make a joke like you. These are heavy consumers. And so those are the people most likely to be on a GLP-1.
Yep.
And when they reduce their intake,
Yeah, it's a big deal.
You see it.
Yeah, it's a
you
big
see
deal.
it. Because the average person will consume snacks.
I think it's a kind of a perfect storm for the snack food industry, because I think when we were kids, we were pitched and sold and actually thought it was healthy. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like literally, like when we were kids, our parents like, well, this is a good idea. You know, cereal was marketed to us as like a healthy choice, and
it's part of a healthy breakfast.
Of our balanced meal.
yeah.
That's
So
what it's balanced.
I think gone are those times. I mean, granted, there might be a small percentage of people that are still that gullible, but I think most people are pretty aware that, you know, Fruit Loops is not a balanced breakfast. I think most people know that Chips Ahoy,
It has 100%
just
vitamin
because
C,
it's
though.
fortified in vitamins, is not ideal for your kids, not the vitamins they need, right? So I think we get to the place where, and then of course obesity is at all-time highs. So you have, and obesity in children, all-time highs. We get to that point and everyone's kind of waking up. Simultaneously, we have this intervention of GLP-1 coming in, and it's like, so I mean, I predict a rapid drop, which is why I also think they're panicking. Is like, because when you say, would you say 24.7 to 2
from 24.9 to 24.7.
Yeah, it's marginal, right? But I mean,
But it's a reversal.
it's a reversal, and it's all signs on where it's going.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to accelerate the other way.
Agreed, 100%. And you're also seeing the obesity epidemic seems to be flattening out for the first time ever, which all predictions were like, oh, it's going to keep going until, you know, this number right here. But it's flattened out. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, I find it comical that the two industries that people like to label as evil, right? Like processed food industry and the pharmaceutical industry
Are going against each other.
fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is gonna be great. It's
Cannibalize.
It's a tug of war.
Cannibalize each other.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
dude.
saying? No,
Let's
I
see
love
what
it.
happens.
I mean, it's great. And then you see companies like our other partner on the rise and crushing it, like ButcherBox, where people are opting in for grass-fed meat and delivered to your house,
continue to grow.
Whole Foods. And so, yeah, what a great time to be a company like that. Like, it's a scary time to be Chips Ahoy, but it's a great time to be, you know, a market like a ButcherBox, a brand like that 20 years ago doesn't thrive.
No
way.
No.
People aren't aware enough. People don't care enough. It doesn't make sense where they time that at a great time, and I think it's only going to get better for them over the next decade.
I tell you guys right now, like it's our sponsor, right? And you know, so I'm always talking about our partners to family members because obviously we like their products. And I've been telling people about ButcherBox for a while in my family, and some people are just like, "Yeah, I'll try it." Other people are like, "Well, wait, whatever, I don't care, no big deal." You know what's selling them like crazy? I'll have them come over. So I had a bunch of people come over our house, and they brought their kids. So all the kids were over. So I made their nuggets. I brought it up so many times.
Chicken nuggets against the kids.
I made their chicken nuggets, and I made a huge plate of them. And everybody, all the adults were eating them, and the adults were like, "What are these? What are these healthy, Sal? Like, what?" I'm like, "Listen, they're pretty good. They're gluten free." Yeah. So everybody got subscriptions because of the chicken nuggets.
That's great.
Aren't you guys doing a cook-off, by the way? You and Doug?
I mean, we got when Brink and so we have our trainer CEUs, which by the way we didn't announce on the podcast. There might be space available. But it's coming up.
So it's a free course.
It's the only time it'll be free. So Justin did this. He launched it with Kyle, where we're going to, just so the trainers that listen to this are aware, we're going to start hosting, because we got this all accredited through NASM, hosting CEU classes. So all trainers need CEUs to renew their national certifications. We will start hosting those here for trainers. The first one to kick it off, free. We wanted to do free.
Give so back. Long as there's space. You go to mindpumplive.com and you get to come to Mind Pump Studio headquarters. We're going to teach some of it. We've got other people teaching some of it.
Yeah, we've got Brink, who's coming down to teach. We have Jordan Syatt coming down to teach. Kyle,
Tons
Eli,
of valuable information.
It's going to be incredibly valuable.
And you'll get free CEUs.
And you get CEUs. If there's space available, once it's filled up because it's free, so it's going to go fast. So probably the one and only time you hear it on the podcast.
Yeah, it's on the 26th of this month. So,
26th of this month, which is only a few days away, right?
It's a few days away, yes.
But anyways, they're coming into town, and
if you're in the San Jose area, so you'll be dumb not to do this. It's free.
Yeah,
I invited Syatt and Brink over to the house and said, "Hey, Doug, why don't you and I, instead of us going out, why don't we do a little cook-off?" And so I'll bring
what's the deal
my baby back ribs from Butcher
So you guys each make your own thing.
Yeah.
And then
it's just fun.
We're gonna vote.
Yeah,
no, we don't have to do it.
Well, we have.
I mean, you guys can. I mean, it's for bragging
we'll
rights.
We'll reveal it on the podcast.
What I want to do right now, because I know it's all you guys are. It's fun or whatever. But I'm gonna continue to push. Let's see who wins, because you're both extremely competitive. Doug is low key extremely competitive.
because then we all benefit.
So we're gonna announce.
He's way more low key. I'm openly competitive.
You're openly competitive.
I'm more subtle.
Doug's like this. Oh, what we're doing?
Yeah,
taking notes.
Yeah, my wheels have been spinning this whole time.
He's getting special spices shipped in from Japan.
Yeah,
like he's doing. He's like, what was it? Oh, we were gonna do a thing.
Yeah, I forgot all about it.
Yeah, I forgot all about it.
Yeah.
He comes
into
his
house,
fucking box.
Yeah.
Like,
trust me, my wheels are spinning to do something a little unique.
Yeah, it's been marinating for a week already. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this whole thing. I'll throw it on there. See how we do. I totally know that's what he's going. I told Katrina that last night. I'm like, don't want you see. Doug heard me say that. I guarantee he's gonna bring.
Well, we'll announce.
I'm gonna keep it simple. I crushed butcher box ribs.
The ribs are
I've done those enough times. I can't mess them up.
Got some up his sleeve.
I'm going for the easy win and
watch this.
Let him sabotage
You won't
himself.
even tell us what you're gonna do, are you? You're gonna keep it a secret.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Okay, it's chicken related.
You won't tell us.
Chicken related.
But it's got let's just say it has
It's meat. I'll give you that.
It has a Japanese twist to it.
It's Japanese wings.
So,
that's my guess.
Edible.
Ordinarily, I do the ribs because the ribs, they're a winner for sure.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tall order because I know Adam does a great job with ribs.
Yeah.
So I have to come with my A game. I got to come up with something a little bit
chicken-related dish. What do you tell us?
Yeah.
Let's just say it's a bird. Okay,
it's a bird.
It doesn't really fly much.
Ostrich,
quail.
I can't wait, dude. I know how ridiculous you guys are about grilling, so I can't wait.
I just figured we always do the going out to dinner stuff like that, and I'm like having everybody over at the place. Doug and I cook.
You guys don't want me grilling.
I got to say though, I'm a little nervous because what I'm thinking of doing, I haven't really practiced or done.
See, that's where
before.
I didn't want to go there. Like,
so I'm going to take. I have to take a risk though, because I'm going up against your ribs, right? So I have to take a risk.
That's fair.
Are you guys bringing your smokers? What's the deal?
Oh, I have my smoker at my house for sure. I have a smoker at my grill. So.
I'll probably bring my own grill. Yeah.
I can't wait to see what Doug's going to do.
I already called it. I told you.
I
said, I guarantee he's already Googling shit right now, dude, getting all ready and stuff for it.
Sous chef with him.
Yeah, weird. I can't wait. I can't wait. We'll see who wins.
Yep.
If you want hair regrowth products, skincare products, and you want cutting edge science, peptide science, check out Luminous by Intera. Go to interaskincare.com. That's ENTERA skincare.com/MPM. Use the code MPM, get 10% off. Back to the show. This segment of the podcast is brought to you by Mind Pump Fitness Coaching. This is the #1 course that teaches trainers and coaches how to build sustainable 6-figure plus businesses and careers in fitness. Look, it's roundtable based, so you can hear Adam, Justin, and myself teaching you how to build a better business, get more leads, close more deals, close bigger deals, and be more effective trainers. By the way, our course is nationally recognized. In fact, it gives you 1.9 CEUs with or for your NASM certification. Find out more at mindpumpfitnesscoaching.com.
Our first caller is Steven from Illinois.
What's up, Steven?
What's happening, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Oh, if I was any better, I wouldn't be able to stand it.
Great.
What's going on,
How do
man?
we help you?
So I guess my question comes to, I've been overweight my entire life. Battled it, yo-yoed, keto this, blah, 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 that. I found you guys through a coworker about a year ago, and he pointed me in the right direction. Started off with anabolic and prime, worked fantastic. And during that time, I wasn't dieting correctly, this and that. I lost about 50 pounds in probably 4 or 5 months. And turns out it was just a bunch of muscle because I wasn't dieting correctly. I wasn't dialed in. So here in the past couple months, I ran through anabolic again, hitting my protein, hitting my calories, and I gained about 20 pounds back in the last couple months, and I'm still fitting into the clothes I was. Of course, I'm a college student, so I try not to track my calories that much because it's a stress that I don't really need. But, I hit my 200 grams of protein a day, and it comes out to about 2,800 calories a day if I eat when I'm hungry until I'm satisfied. So I guess I just need help going from here, if that makes sense.
I just so you know, Steven, I think you're doing really good, buddy.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to be at calorie-wise and grams of protein and strength training. Just what you have to mentally prepare yourself for is it's not going to give you the same 50 pounds on the scale as the other way of dieting. And so I think, that's what I'm hearing from you, it's probably more of that going on in your head is like, okay, I'm doing the right things now, but then I'm not seeing the scale move as much. But it's happening. What's happening is this beautiful exchange of a little bit of fat going down, a little bit of muscle being built, which doesn't result in the scale moving very much, but your body composition is probably changing really nice at a really good pace, and you're in a very good calorie. Like what I'm always worried is, so I get on the call with someone like this, and they're like, "Oh, I'm only eating 1,300 calories," and it's like, "Oh shit, where do we go from there?" But yeah. I think you're actually at a really good place to just kind of cruise like that. What might be of value is like being in a community, like in our forum. I'd love to put you in there with us. So that'd be great. So as you're going through this process and you have moments of doubt or you're not sure about something, you can just message us on there, and then we could take a look at what you're doing and keep encouraging you in that direction, because where you're at sounds pretty damn good.
Yeah. Are you still pursuing being a firefighter based off the question you wrote us a while ago?
Well, we moved back home, so we're not necessarily in St. Louis anymore. So yes, I am. But I'm kind of I plan on being a volunteer somewhere, and I just want to be able to serve my community wherever I end up.
Okay.
In that way.
Okay, good. And then have you said you've been struggling with weight for a long time. What do you mean a long time? How long?
I can't remember the last time I was in an extra large shirt. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Is working with a coach something you'd be open to? Because someone like you who's been struggling with this for a while, a coach is going to be able to walk you through the pitfalls that you're going to run into. So as you do this, what probably has happened in the past is you've done a few things right, you've seen some results, you hit a pitfall, backtrack, and it's this back and forth backtrack.
Exactly.
And it's going to happen again without having someone there that can walk you through, that can
anticipate it before
that can tell you this is what's going to feel like, this is what's going to happen, and that's okay. Here's how we're going to work around that. Your best odds by far are going to be working with a coach on a semi-regular basis, once a week or something like that. And that doesn't it doesn't mean. So here's the challenge. Sometimes people have with that is like, oh my god, if I screw up, I got to tell my coach. Yeah, but they're not It's not a drill sergeant. They're just going to be able to coach you through this process. Yeah, and we're going to break this. We're going to break the chains of this challenge. Is what it'll do. But if you're open to that, at the very least, I can have a coach call you and get into more depth and talk about what that might look like for someone like you. The workout part, I don't think is going to be hard if you follow our programs. That's the programming right there. The hard part's going to be, and it always is with everybody, is the relationship with nutrition. It's the relationship with food. That's the tough part, and that's why the coaching is so valuable.
That and when the doubt creeps in, it's inevitable.
Always.
The doubt will creep in. Am I doing the right thing? Whatever. Yeah. And then the biggest mistake people make is overcorrecting when they're actually doing pretty damn good.
And the shame that comes from, a pitfall, which is going to happen. Okay, that happens to everybody. But then there's shame that follows along with that, which only fuels maybe past behaviors. And so what we got to do is got to break the chains of that so it doesn't have such a grip on you. And it's a bit of a process, but when you have someone there coaching you, it's so much more effective. So much more effective.
For sure.
Okay.
So I'm going to have Doug put you in the private forum for sure.
And then you can tag us in there anytime, Steve.
That's right. And then I'll also have Doug set up where one of our trainers can call you and get a little more in depth and then potentially help you that direction too. But as far as what you're doing right now, the program, I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
I love where you're in a good place. And you don't need to overthink the calorie counting thing. Just keep doing what you're doing where you're tracking the protein.
Hit protein first, whole natural foods. That's it's going to take you a long way, just that alone.
And this is what your coach would say to you to start you off. That's probably the advice you would get.
Stronger.
And then and stay the course, dude. You're doing good.
For sure.
Yep.
I appreciate it. You guys are awesome.
Thanks for calling in, man.
Thanks, Steven.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I wanted to go the coach route because, we could give them all and this is for anybody listening, you could get all the right advice. It's typically not, the problem typically isn't not having the right answers. It's how do I apply these? How do I overcome this challenge? I feel this way. I feel that way. I don't want to do this. I want to do that. And a good coach is a guide, and they're going to guide you through that process. And they're also going to teach you how to have grace for yourself when you screw up, because you will. You absolutely will.
Better have another set of eyes to really see those obstacles and challenges on the horizon before you even know they're there. So I think, to have them point that out and to adjust, based on program nutrition, it's just going to be a game changer for him.
Our next caller is Chris from New Hampshire.
What's up, Chris?
What up, Chris?
What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
Good, man.
How can we help you?
Pretty good, man. Hey, well, first of all, I want to give thanks to you guys. It's weird seeing you guys from this angle. It's like I'm on the I'm watching the podcast right now. It's weird, but appreciate you guys taking the question. I pretty much modeled my whole fitness kind of business off of you guys. I don't do a podcast or anything like that, but I actually own a personal training studio down in Massachusetts. And dude, I mean, my question is really just how to balance my business life with my love life, man. And I'd love to just kind of get your guys' thoughts on the grind while balancing love life with your partner.
Wow.
Well, there's a lot there. I'll tell you.
Both are a grind.
I'll tell you, bro. I know.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you what Katrina and I do. So we have a rule that anytime that she feels because I'm sure you're probably this person in the relationship, that you're the one who is working the crazy hours, grinding, and focused on growing his business. And she's the one that probably is asking for more time or whatever. And so in our relationship, Katrina has the ability, because she runs my calendar, to book us a day or 2 days, whatever, a getaway. And I have no real say in it. And because she sees my calendar, all my appointments, she'll do it. She thinks that we're not connecting or we haven't seen enough of each other the last month because my head's been down. She'll look in my calendar the next 30 days and find that day or 3 days and handle the kid being watched, handle wherever we need to be, put it in the calendar, and I have to submit to it. And I tell you, I just got back from Mexico. This was one of these examples. I looked at her and I said, we can't do this. We're just not right now. We're in the middle of a move right now. We got all this, we're bringing on a new marketing company at the business. Like, I'm all over the board. We just can't go right now. She was like, yeah, you know the rules. We're booked. We're good to go. We'll figure it out. And so and every time I go, and it takes me about 24 hours before I can completely disconnect. But then once I do, I tend to look over and go, I'm glad we did that. I'm glad we do. So we just kind of have that rule in our relationship, and I empower her to be able to do that. And when I push back and say no, that she is allowed to do that. And I know that it's for the better of our relationship. So that's one. The other thing that has been incredible in our relationship for staying connected is we save time in the night or during the week for an audiobook together to listen to. And what I have found in that is it's been incredibly connecting for us. It's not just what we're reading. In fact, many times it doesn't even matter what we're listening to. It's the fact that the two of us are sitting in silence, listening to something that is obviously growth related because we're learning something. And so we're growing together. And even if it's only 20 minutes, it's very powerful and leads to many intimate nights and us being incredibly bonded and some great conversations. A lot of times we'll listen to something and we'll only listen for 20 minutes because something is said that we want to discuss. Then it gets paused and then we have this great dialogue. And so we just commit to a book a month we're going to knock out. And, so that we do the math on how many, it's like an hour to 2 a week total. So we can break that up in 20-minute increments. And if we get behind 4 days in a row, we're busy, or maybe we're watching our favorite show, well, that means on Thursday, we're going to listen for an hour. But we commit to that to each other. And between that, the trips, and then, the date nights every now and then, I think it keeps us incredibly connected, yet able to grind like we both love to do.
Yeah. I have a few questions, Chris, before I could maybe add to anything to that. It says in your question that you just opened the studio about a few months ago. So it's a new business?
In November.
Okay. And you used to live really close to home and have more time, and now you have way less time because it's a new business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your girlfriend, right? Not your wife?
Correct.
How long have you guys been together?
6 years, bro.
60. How old are you?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 28.
Okay. Are you going to marry her?
Yes, guy. Yeah. I believe I've been hounded by her family now for quite some time.
Yeah. But have you actually proposed and set the date?
No.
Okay. She's going to lose patience with you until you do that. Because here's the deal. Because I'm also reading your question that she does everything at home. She waits for you. And because here's the problem. Here's the deal. You just started this studio 3 months ago. And you're going to have to grind for a while. There's just nothing. There's nothing I can tell you that's going to have you work 40 hours a week and succeed in a studio that you just opened 3 months ago.
For a while.
You're going to have to grind for a while, which means she's going to have to be patient, which means she needs to see that there's a plan here. And if the plan is, hey, honey, hang out with me, just stick around, that's not going to work. But if it's like, I want to marry you, propose, here's the date. Yeah. And then she's like, okay, I see the goal here. And then you say, honey, I need a year. I need a year of sacrifice from you because I just opened the studio, because it's going to take you a while to make this thing really work. I know what it takes to own a studio. I think I'm I had a pretty successful one, and it took me a year to really make that thing happen. You just opened it 3 months ago. You're not going to work 40 hours a week, have all kinds of quality time with your girlfriend now. It's not going to happen. You're going to lose your studio. And if you're okay with that, that's okay. So this is much more complex than, finding the quality time type of deal. Adam gave great advice. Yeah. So the little time that you do have, I would make it quality. But you've been with her for 6 years. You live together. You just went from working so many hours to working tons of hours, and you're asking her to be patient with you. She needs to see the end goal. And when she does, then you can paint the picture and tell her, here's the deal.
Whatever that is, you got to forecast that vision for her. So you guys have an actual plan that she knows that this is the plan, and I'm on board with this plan. We're both working together towards this. So it's a team effort, right? So it's not just like, I'm doing this thing, it's going to benefit us, down the road, but you're just going to have to sit over here and wait. But just to have that, to share that is the vision that you guys are creating together. You're creating this together.
You would be surprised at just how supportive your partner could be if they see the plan and you give them a date. like, hey, look, it's going to take a year. It's going to be a year of hard grinding, but here's why I'm doing it. And here's what's going to happen at the end of it.
Yeah.
We need to, this is going to set us up, and here's why, and here's what I'm going to do. Versus, hey, I got this business and we'll try and make it work and just kind of hang out. That's how relationships fall apart.
Chris, have you guys listened to the Adam Lane Smith interviews that we did?
No.
Oh,
Good
bro.
call. Good call.
Fire.
Oh yeah, especially with this conversation right now, and understanding what she needs and what you need.
Yep.
It's one you guys should listen to together if she'll listen to it with you. But for sure, go back and listen to the 2 interviews that we did with Adam Lane Smith. Incredible value for where you're at in your relationship right now. Is one of the only episodes I've ever sat down with Katrina and actually listened to it together because it was so powerful for us. And she'll tell you that it was very impactful for her, understanding from the male perspective, and gave me more insight to hers. And so you definitely listen to those.
And look, I'll add something to this. Like, imagine your girlfriend saying to you tomorrow morning when you're coming to work for 13 hours, because it looks like you're working 13 hours a day, which is, by the way, anybody watching, you open a brand new business, especially brick and mortar, you can expect to live there for a little while. Imagine if she looked at you and she said, you know what, honey? You go kick ass for us. You go kick ass for us. You work your ass off. I'm going to be over here holding it down for you. And when you get home tonight, tired and exhausted, I'm going to have some food ready for you, and you're going to do it again tomorrow because we got a year of this together. Imagine if she said that to you, how much more likely you were to crush at what you were doing.
Yeah, dude. That's the thing too, Sal. Like, that's the type of girl that she is, man. Like, I didn't ask her to like clean the house, make me stuff when I'm coming home from work, anything like that. She just took it upon herself to do that because we do have those conversations, man. But like, I want her to know that like I'm there for the long run. And honestly, too, dude, like I didn't even think about like the question of marriage right now because like it's just like, you know how it is. I'm so locked in, dude, and it's just like this is all I can think about, and it is like, bro, it's just all I think about, dude, the business wise. And then I don't know, man, the relationship stuff just takes second. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. But if she's that kind of woman, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to find that kind of woman very often. That is okay.
Yep.
So think very carefully and think about this seriously. You got to show her the plan, make it happen. And then she's going to sit by you. So, because here's what's going to happen with no plan. It's going to wear on her, dude. And I would expect it to. So give her a year. It's going to be a year, honey, a year of grinding. But here's what's going to happen at the end of the year. We're going to do this, that, and the other, and you got me, type of deal.
Chris,
very different.
Katrina waited 10 years, bro. But she did because I did that. I did a real good job of letting her know that we were going to do this, then this is going to happen, and then I want to be here financially, and then we get married, then we have kids. That was like, it was communicated really early on. And now, don't get me wrong, years 6, 7, she was starting to get impatient, but she knew from day one, this is where I needed to be. I want to be here before I settle down, get married and have a kid. There's a place I need to be for me personally in order to do that. If you're down to ride with me and build that with me, let's do it. If you got to leave because you don't want to stick around that long, I understand. So that was communicated really early on. And so, she did. She waited a long time before she officially got that ring. And it was because we talked about it. And it wasn't unexpected. It wasn't like she was looking at me year 7 going like, what's going on? I don't understand why we're not. No, she knew why. She knew there was a place that we needed to be, and she was down to help me get there.
Yeah, dude. But the communication is so key, man. I love that, bro.
Yeah, but trying to get work-life balance when you're 3 months into a brand new business, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, dude. No.
The hacks I gave you though are gold. Trust me. Yeah. You implement, and that doesn't take a lot of time to do that. 15, 20 minutes a night, listening to an audiobook, giving her, because it sounds like she is helping you, like Katrina helped me. Katrina ran our household. She ran our calendar. And so I gave her that ability. Hey, you tell us when you're running this relationship, you're the one who's head of this. I'm gonna go make the money, be the business guy. You run our household. You keep me in line what we need to do, and you can tell me, hey, Friday you're not doing anything. We're going here. We're doing that, and that worked really well for us.
Dude, after you guys all did this after working like 12, 13 hours, man. How do you disconnect?
Yeah, it takes a minute, man.
That's tough.
That's one of the hardest. So Jordan Peterson talks about, he did this on Joe Rogan.
This is work.
Where he, and I actually put this into practice. After you do this enough, you get better at it. But I'd pull in my driveway and shut the car off, and I wouldn't just walk in the house. I'd actually stop and literally like have this conversation with myself of like, okay, Even though I got all this stuff going on with work, I haven't completed that one thing. It's like I gotta pause it right here. I come in after I've kind of had that moment of like sitting in the driveway for a couple minutes, like decompressing, saying, okay, I'm switching now to, husband and father. And then I walk in, kiss my wife, kiss my son, go straight upstairs, and I put sweats on. It's just like, I'm changing from
your uniform
fitness. Yeah. And my uniform at home as dad and as husband is my sweats and my t-shirt. And so it's like clockwork. I walk in, make sure I had to train myself to do this because I'm not very good at the making sure I kiss her and do those things like on a regular basis. So I had to train myself to do that. So that's what that conversation in the driveway is. Come in, forget about the shit that you were just putting a fire out 5 minutes ago on the phone, go kiss your wife, go say hi to your son, go upstairs, put your sweats and t-shirt on, and you're dad now. And so it just, I had to put those practices in to get better at that. Otherwise, if you let me, I'll think about work all day, all night till I fall asleep and have a hard time even doing that, and then back at it again. And like, it's a superpower. It's also what is our greatest weakness. And so understanding that it's your greatest strength when you need it, but then also could be your greatest weakness when you care about other things in your life. So I had to put those practices into place, and now it's second nature to me. But it took a few years of really putting those things into practice.
Yeah. What do you think then, Justin? Huh?
Yeah. I mean,
not much from you guys.
This is all great advice. I had to do the same thing for me, and even sometimes I'd have to add an hour after I was done working, and that was just to complete all those thoughts and to figure out the appointments, to figure out like my game plan for the next day, like everything I possibly needed to squeeze out in terms of like what I needed to do with the business. I wanted to get that done before now I step into the house. And that is such a discipline that takes a lot of practice, man. And especially because you're in the heat of it right now. You're literally building something from scratch. And so it's taking everything from you right now. So my thought is after I shut that off, like what's my wife's needs? What do I need to come in? What kind of energy do I need for them? What do I need to immediately do? Sometimes I just walk straight to the sink because I know there's going to be dishes there. I know there's going to be something, and I just get to busy. Like I just start doing things, and that's just because it just shows that like now I'm concerned about her. I'm concerned about my family, and I was terrible at that in the very beginning. So this was lessons that slapped me in the face multiple times to realize my deficits. But if you're already thinking about this ahead of time, and you could start implementing these practices, bro, you're gonna do great.
Have you heard that conversation that Jordan Peterson had with Joe Rogan that I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea.
Oh, bro, you have to Google it. It's one of the most powerful things that he has said that has impacted my life. Like what he explains is he's talking about how we go on a week vacation, right? So let's say maybe you guys have one this year in summer or Thanksgiving time or whatever. It's a week vacation. You'll spend the whole fucking year planning where you're going, the flights, the hotel, like you'll spend weeks planning this 1 week and all this energy and effort. Yet when you do the math over your lifetime, how many weeks of vacations you'll actually take and the amount of time you spend doing that compared to the first 15 minutes that you see your wife every day, you're talking about, and yet how often do you prepare for that? How often do you get your mind ready for that? Yet you're going to do an infinite amount more of that than you ever will on vacation. Yet we put all this energy and effort into planning the most awesome vacation, and yet you don't put any effort into the 15 minutes that you see your wife every single day. And that fucking hit me like a ton of bricks, dude. Like that was like all I needed to hear to go, oh my God, I need to treat it that way. I need to care about it because I'm going to spend most of my life greeting her or saying goodbye to her. And yet I dismiss that as of anything of importance in comparison to, my trip to Cabo for a week, you know what I'm saying, that we planned all year long. And he said, and that was such a powerful moment for me to go, you know what, I need to put it into practice to at least be mindful of that first 10 minutes.
Yeah, dude. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that story that Sal told a little bit ago when he backs out of his driveway and his kids wave at him. Yeah. And he goes, I got to be gracious for this, man.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be there waving at me.
That's right.
Yeah, 100%.
That's right. So, yeah, those are, listen to Adam Lane Smith, find that Joe Rogan clip. I think that's powerful. And then,
when you met your girlfriend, what were you doing for work?
Oh, we were in college, man. So I was distributing beer as
Wow.
a like a salesman kind of.
And she's been with you this whole time, from beer distributor to now business owner.
Yeah, bro.
And she sounds like she's ride or
B2B.
die.
All right.
Dude, she is. She's the best. I hope she listens to this episode. She's not much of a mind pump gal, unfortunately, but she loves the road. I got to put her on a mind pump, dude.
Chris,
We'll win her over.
Make marry her, Chris. Make that
Dude,
make
I'm
that
going
do
to.
it. Tell her
100%.
Tell her, and then give her the dream and set the schedule and the goal so she can see the game plan, and then it'll give you another gear.
Yeah.
That's going to give you another gear is what's going to do.
At least tell her the plan, bro.
Yeah. She'll invite us to the wedding.
Yeah,
Don't
at
worry.
least tell her the plan.
Yeah. Can I give one shout out real quick?
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Shout out to Justin's calves. Those things are looking nice, guy. Those are crazy. You guys are always talking about his calves.
Hey, he does zero work for him, bro. They look like zero work.
Those are
They just-
wild, bro.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I've done zero
El
calf raises,
Natural
so-
right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He jumped once. In that.
I
But
bet you appreciate
it,
how
bro.
white.
You
All
guys
right,
are the
Chris.
best,
Hey,
man.
keep
Thank you guys so
us
much.
posted. I want to hear.
Take it easy.
I want to hear how it goes for you, man.
Appreciate it, dude. I'll see you guys.
All right,
Got
bro.
it.
Good luck, brother.
Yeah, the concept of work-life balance is beautiful and amazing, but you could throw it out the window when you first start a business. When you first start a business, you have to dedicate a lot of time to it. It's just the way it is.
It's a bit of a myth. I mean, you're not no great athlete, no great musician, nobody great at anything has balance.
No, you build a business
get-
that allows you to have
Yes.
work-life
You work
balance.
your way there.
But those initial stages, I read his question, like 3 months in, work-life balance. Like, what are you talking about?
I do
2
think
years in,
though.
maybe
I
we'll
do
have
think
a
there are
conversation.
small hacks though that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
do.
Absolutely.
That I mean, you stopping in your driveway for 5 minutes before you walk in to say your wife is
Just
a
to
very
reset.
right to
Yeah.
be set. You allowing her to book a day away is not crazy. Like you listening to an
I
audiobook
asked my wife
in
3
bed.
questions
Yeah.
before I said anything about my day.
Right.
And that's stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
little things.
those are good. And that can apply no matter what phase you are in your
right.
life of being grinding. And so yeah, good luck, man.
Our next caller is James from Alaska.
What's up, James?
What's up, man?
How can we help you?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, man.
So I was on a couple of years ago. I don't know if you guys remember. We talked. I asked you guys about programming for wildland firefighters, and so I figured I'd give you kind of an intro of what I've been up to since then, and then go into my question. I'll read from it. It's kind of long, so I'll read from it, so I make sure I don't forget anything. So since then, I think that was back in 2023, and I've been listening to you guys for a few years, probably since 2020, so about 5 years. And since then, I've been a nutrition coach full time. And I also moved back up to Alaska. So I was kind of bouncing between Arizona and Alaska. So I'm back up in Alaska right now. I got married and now we have 34 dogs. I'm a musher up here. And
Oh, wow.
a nutrition
Wow.
coach, a musher up here. And so that's kind of what I've been up to for the last couple years. And I graduate this semester with my degree in dietetics. So right now I'm working with wildland firefighters and military personnel and backcountry athletes and people kind of similar to me. So my question isn't so much about fitness. It's more so about having passion for what you guys do. So over the years, I've had a couple different careers. I was an infantryman in the Marine Corps. I was a wildland firefighter after that. I worked in security for a bit too. Now I'm a dog musher up in Alaska, and I also my nutrition business. My long-term goal is to be an astronaut, but I think I might love where I'm at right now too, as a musher and nutrition coach. And I'm only 27, so obviously I don't have to have everything, figured out right now. I got plenty of time, but we do want kids soon. So I just wanted to show, I want to be able to show my kids that, what it's like to love what you do. So like I said, my question for you guys isn't so much about fitness. I'm finding right now that I might not love every moment of my life, but overall I really enjoy what I do. And I think I love what I do. So that was kind of my question for you guys. How did you determine that fitness is what you love to do and what you wanted to do for the rest of your lives? How much of it did you actually love, and how much of it did you not enjoy?
That's a great question. By the way, what kind of a business is a musher? Are you delivering products and stuff to different people, or are people hiring you just to have the experience? What is that?
It's more so that the tours and stuff. So when that's how we make our money. So people come up and they do tours with us. So we take them out with the dogs on a tour and tell them all about it and stuff like that.
Cool.
When we're in Fairbanks, we do it here at a couple different places. And then in the summertime, my wife and I go down to Juneau, and then which we're leaving in a couple weeks here. We fly all of our dogs up onto a glacier, and then people fly onto the glacier and we take them around on a tour there.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so for me, it was really easy because I loved it. I loved it. Now, what I loved the most was the people. And I think this is the most important thing for coaches and trainers to understand. Like, loving fitness is important, but loving people is even more important because you can like fitness, but you're dealing with different personalities on a regular basis. And if you don't truly just enjoy people and different opinions and different types of energy, and you don't go home with the energy, on top of you, I mean, because you're going to deal with people who are anxious and sad and happy, and they do what you want, they don't do what you want, and they're going to complain to you. And I went home every day feeling fulfilled just because I like being around people and I like working with people. So that is one of the most important things I try to communicate with coaches and trainers. Like, fitness is a no-brainer. I think everybody that wants to be a coach and a trainer knows that they like fitness, but really it's about enjoying working with people is the most important thing.
I think we get this all wrong. I think the same way that I think Disney fooled a whole generation of people of thinking what love is in a relationship is the same thing that we're doing in the last decade or two of fooling all these kids into thinking that they're going to find a job they're so passionate about. And just like the Disney thing, like, love is a choice, bro. You choose to love your wife. And you've made that choice actively. Now, you've probably done a good job of filtering out ones that aren't good and found someone that matches that. But every day of your life with her going forward, you will make the choice to love her and put that effort forth. Now, hopefully you did a good job of picking someone that aligns with you and grows with you and all these other things. And so that'll make that journey very enjoyable, but it doesn't mean it's going to be not have hard days, not days where you wish you didn't get married and some of that. That's going to happen. Same thing goes with work. I think you choose to love it. Now, hopefully you've got enough practice and tried different things to hone in on the stuff that gives you enjoyment while you do it. And so then you can therefore then be passionate for this thing you do. But you choose that. You choose to be that way. I was a cow milker and loved doing it. I realized I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life, but while I was doing it, I was passionate about it. I wanted to be the best one. I wanted to produce the best milk when the guy came and picked it up and graded it. I wanted to get it done faster than any of my peers that were doing it. And when I'd get there, I'd find ways to love what I was doing. But over the years, I realized, well, there's not a big career in this. I'm probably not going to make a lot of money. Those are things that are important to me. Let's keep moving on. And I just kept moving on until I started to hone in. And the personal training thing, I really loved. And I realized, well, I can make the kind of money I was wanting to make doing something that came natural to me, talking to people and being around them. But it doesn't mean I hadn't had many, many days where I'm just like, fuck, this is a grind. Fuck, I don't want to do this or see this part. Like, there's a lot of that. But I chose to love that path. I chose to love that career and pour myself into it. So I do think I think there's a lot of messaging around millennials around, searching for this job that's just it's going to jump out, on a white horse and be like, this is it, bro. And you're like, and so you have this generation of young guys and girls that are waiting for that. And it's like, man, no, you choose to do that. And I hope you choose wisely, that the thing that you do, you seem to enjoy it. And to me, that's a great sign. It's like, this is awesome. You found something that it makes money for you and you actually love getting up to do it. Lean into that. But it doesn't mean there's not going to be days where you're like, man, I don't want to do this today. Like, that's going to happen, bro.
No, very well said. I totally was going to go in that same direction, but it's really just, it's a compilation of, I tried this, I'm maxing this out, I'm putting my best foot forward every single day, and I'm seeing, where I can grow. And every opportunity I've had, it's like, where can I grow? How can I stretch this out and maximize my potential, whatever this is in front of me? And what's great about that is then something else just presents itself naturally to you. And in either it's you just keep flourishing and you keep going in that direction that you found yourself in, or now it's a new opportunity that now you decide, like, am I going to pursue this now? Have I capped out my potential in this job, and now I'm going to try a new career and figure this out? And for me, it was just that now I'm doing personal training, and now if I do this in this setting, how can I maximize my potential for growth here? And then that just naturally kind of progressed to a different opportunity. And what's weird about it is, like, all these other passions that you have and you're probably thinking about right now, and that when you do that, they somehow find their way back to you.
That's right.
And it's like weird. It's like, oh wow, now I can do this within the setting of the job that I'm doing, and I never thought I'd be doing this in combination with this opportunity. So I do think that it's very much of a mindset more than anything.
Yeah, it is a rewarding career because you are actually helping people. Some jobs you're doing something, and at the end of the day, you're like, am I really helping anybody? Am I really making a difference? But I think with coaching and training, you are, because you're helping people become more healthy, which is for me was very rewarding. It was always very rewarding knowing that I was doing something good or something that I felt was
You're
good.
helping people too. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes total sense. And there's a couple of things you said that I definitely made me think a little bit. But the helping people, I think as a Marine, like I started out at 18, like kind of on a high note where it's like you have this like purpose and stuff, and you really know what it is, and you drive into that, and it makes a lot of sense. And then you leave that, and then it's like, oh, there's no way like that was the high point. And so you spend a lot of time like exploring other things to try and find that. And then I finally, I say finally, like it was like super long, at least I'm only 27. So it wasn't a really long time, but I finally found this thing that I really enjoy. And it kind of gives me that same, sense of, like you talked about purpose and stuff. And it's funny, Justin, you mentioned like things just kind of falling in place. When I asked this, I don't know, I think it was a month or two ago. It might've been a couple months ago when I emailed in. I was really trying to figure out because I wasn't like enjoying what I was doing as a musher, but I was trying to figure out like, am I just not enjoying right now? Or is it like, do I love 75% and like not enjoy 25% of it, which I've come to figure out that seems to be obviously like pretty normal. Like if you love what you do, maybe you just love 75, 80% of it. And there is going to be 20%
of course,
yep,
enjoy. And then you just said something about, like you said, that things kind of just present themselves. Yesterday, someone emailed me about, like I said, I kind of want to be an astronaut. And I have this degree in nutrition, and NASA works with Cornell researching sled dogs to work with astronauts in nutrition.
There you go, bro.
So this guy actually emailed me the other day.
Oh my God.
That's so
the
cool.
company that feeds astronauts and stuff. And we're talking after this, but I thought it was pretty interesting that you brought that up. So it's kind of this opportunity, but I have one more kind of, how would you communicate this to your kids? So like, how would you tell your kids, like, this is, you're not always going to love it. Like your kids right now at the ages that they are, like, you're not always going to love it. You're not going to love every part of it. But this is how you know what you love to do. Like, how would you communicate that to your kids?
I want my son to be great and passionate about anything that he does. And the thing that he's meant to do, to Justin's point, will reveal itself. So if you commit, son, to do this, I want you to be the best at it and work at it as hard as you possibly can. Not the best person, the best version of you. So I want you to give everything you got towards that thing. And this is how your dad has been rewarded in his career path is when I was a cow milker, I wanted to be the best one I could possibly be at 16 years old. Guess what happened is I met a guy who saw that trait in me, asked me what I saw myself doing down the road. I said, I want to get into personal training one day. Allowed me to train his son before I was even certified. That then allowed me to get a membership at a 24-hour fitness that then found out that it's like being passionate and working hard towards whatever thing you're currently doing will open the doors for something that maybe you will do for the rest of your life. But you don't approach today knowing that. You approach today saying, am I giving my best? Am I doing the best at this thing that I'm doing, even if I don't think it's going to be the thing I'm going to do for the rest of my life, because it's representing my character. Others are going to watch the way I work. Others are going to watch the way I approach life. And I want to present myself in this way that is like, you're getting all of me. And I think that way of approaching life and other aspects, not just business, will always reward you.
I think if you love the process, you love hard work, you love the discipline, you love that you can apply yourself, you love that you're doing things that you feel there's value in, or at least you find value in the things that you do, you're going to do well no matter what. Yeah. I mean, Adam said character. Like good character is good character. Doesn't matter if you're flipping burgers, you're building computers or whatever. It's really about that. And then the job you do you're going to do well at it because you got good character. So that's the most important thing. They find this in the data, by the way, that when children have good character, it really doesn't matter what they do. they'll do okay.
How you do anything is how you do everything. So I love that quote. It's so true. If you half-ass making your bed, you're probably going to half-ass the job you do. If you half-ass the job you're going to do, you're probably going to half-ass your marriage.
You got a whole asset.
That's right. You got to do all of it. And that's how I would teach my son is like, we don't half-ass anything. Like you do, whatever you do the best to your ability. It doesn't matter if that's makes you great at it or not. It's like, that's how you approach life. Otherwise, that's how it's going to bleed into every other aspect of your life. So how you do anything is how you do everything.
Mm-hmm. No, I appreciate that. And I did also want to say that the reason I asked this because when I had first started listening, I didn't want to be a dad. Like I had no desire to be a dad. But over the years, listening to you guys talk about being dads and raising your kids and stuff, like now I'm really excited to be a dad. And I've thought more and more about that over the recent years. And like, I want to make sure that, I'm at least living the way that I want my kid to live and see up to. So I appreciate you guys always talking about that. Even if I don't think anyone really ever tells you that, but it's super impactful and it usually has nothing to do with fitness. But just the way you guys talk about being dads and how exciting it is to be dads. Like now I'm really excited about it and we're trying to do it right, which is one of the reasons that we decided to stay up here and we just moved into a house and we're like, we think raising kids in Alaska with the life that we do is really beneficial to them. But everything that I've been doing has kind of been geared toward like making sure that I raise a kid the right way. So I appreciate you guys.
That's awesome, James.
That's
awesome.
Thanks for sharing that.
Hey, and just so you know, you even if you'll never find the perfect or the best words to give them for this type of stuff we're talking about. The most powerful thing you could do is to model it, is to do it. He'll see or she will see the way you live your life, the way you approach everything that you do. And if he sees that in his dad, that, oh shit, my dad, when he does it, like that'll bleed into them more than the best lecture with the best words said a certain way. So lean into that more than anything else.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. You guys have a good one.
All right, James.
You got it.
On.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's good
like
to
these
hear.
questions today.
Well, it's good to hear because there's a for a long time there was a generation of people that didn't want kids.
Yeah.
Like it was this terrible thing.
Right.
And it's just horrible. It's horrible that people believe that. It's hard, but it's not terrible. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's really, really good to hear that. By the way, he wrote in his question that his wife and him, like they're not just mushers, they're badasses. They do the Iditarod. Both of them.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, dude. And how crazy is that he got contacted by nasty, like how many people who do nutrition who also are good enough mushers to do.
I firmly believe the skills you acquire and what you work on, like later on, it's going to matter in some weird way.
Yeah,
bro,
always.
What you said is so great. That's exactly how you go about this is like you choose to be passionate about the thing you do. So be passionate about it and be great.
Yeah.
And don't worry, the thing will find you.
It does.
Every step, everything I've done came to me, but it came to me because the way I approached the thing that I was doing.
It didn't come to you because you were just sitting there.
That's right. It didn't come. I didn't get, and I could go through every single job or thing I did. It was an opportunity that came to me, but it came to me because the way I was doing the thing, the way I was doing the current thing that I probably hated or didn't like doing that much. Maybe 80% of it I didn't like, but yet I didn't approach it that way. I approached it passionately and wanted to be great at it. And then that attracted, and then to Justin's point, those skills, when I look back now today, all those skills,
all those decisions,
doing all those different things has now served me in this thing, 100%.
Yep. Cow milking too. All right, I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. How strong should you be? Ever wonder if you're actually strong, or at least compared to people like yourself? Today's episode, we're going to talk about that, and we're going to help you determine how strong you should be, and also talk about the steps to getting strong as fast as possible. In fact, we're going to talk about the fastest way to get bigger and stronger all at the same time.
I know keeps Adam up at night.
Yes, it does actually, and I know that you wrote a really complex episode here, but I think Justin's metric has been the one